NASCAR's lost teams, Travis Carter Enterprises. Travis Carter Enterprises was a former NASCAR Cup Series team who competed from 1990 through 2003. Then Carter was also involved with the group as a co-owner of a Xfinity Series team in 2007. Several notable drivers have made starts for Carter's race team, including Butch Miller, Rick Mast, Jimmy Spencer, Hut Strickland, Todd Bodine, Jeff Bodine, Darrell Waltrip, and Joe Nemechek, along with a few others. Now, originally, Travis Carter got his start in NASCAR, serving as a crew chief for the LG DeWitt number 72 team, driven by Benny Parsons. It just so happens that Carter and Parsons won the 1973 NASCAR Cup Series championship, remaining with Parsons for a couple other seasons. Carter kind of bounced around after serving as Bobby Allison's crew chief in 1976. He bounced around until 1981, when Carter became Harry Gant's crew chief, while he drove the number 33 Skull Bandit car for Hal Needham and Burt Reynolds in their Mach Reynolds racing machine. Following the 1989 NASCAR Cup Series season, Carter purchased his former race team, Mach 1 Racing. When Bill Edwards, the new owner of Mach 1 Racing, following the 1988 season, that's when Reynolds and Needham decided they were done, because both their main sponsor and the driver left at the end of the 1988 season, with fair reason. With a strong start in the early 1980s, winning races and finishing near the top in the point standings, to barely finishing in the top 10 more than a handful of times throughout a season, finishing way deep in the final standings. With rookie Cup Series driver Rick Mast behind the wheel of a number 66 Chevrolet, after only running the first 10 races full-time, then cutting back drastically, only making 4 more starts throughout the rest of the 89 season. Travis Carter Enterprises debuted in the 1990 Daytona 500, with Butch Miller behind the wheel of a number 98 Banquet Frozen Foods Chevrolet. Miller wasn't bad, though he wasn't great, and he didn't have the equipment that would allow him to be great either. Miller was an excellent driver, and the team just was getting going, and that was the number one issue, honestly. They just were brand new, and they had to get everything sorted out. And Miller, he was a great driver, and his talent exceeded what the team was capable of at the time, to be truthful. Miller's best start was 17th at Daytona in the spring, and his best finish was 8th at Pocono in July. Overall, in 23 starts, Miller scored 1 top 10, 5 top 15s, 13 top 20s, and was 21st in point standings at the time that they split. Mast returned to the fold to replace Miller behind the wheel of the number 98 Chevrolet. Mast's best start was 7th, and his best finish was 7th, both coming at Phoenix in the fall. Overall, between the two drivers, the 98 team made 29 starts, scoring 2 top 10s, 6 top 15s, and 14 top 20s. That first season was a nice start, or a nice foundation to build on. Jimmy Spencer would join Travis Carter Enterprises for the first time in 1991, also behind the wheel of new primary sponsor Banquet Foods, number 98. Honestly, at times, the team looked great throughout the season, even stringing together 4 straight top 10s in the spring. Spencer's best start was 11th at Bristol in the late summer, and his best finish was 3rd at North Wilkesboro in the spring. Overall, in 29 Cup Series starts, Spencer scored 1 top 5 and 6 top 10s, finishing 25th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Same with Carter's number 98 team for the 1992 NASCAR Cup Series season, but both performance and sponsorship fell off the charts. Behind the wheel of the number 98 Molly Black Gold Chevrolet, things fell off so far that following race 10 and not qualifying for 3 of the said 10 events, attempting and also not qualifying for the 14th race of the 1992 season in Michigan. This is where Carter temporarily shut down his race team. Spencer's best start was 16th, and his best finish was 12th, both coming at Richmond in the spring. With R.J. Reynolds serving as sponsor of the NASCAR Cup Series, well then the NASCAR Winston Cup Series, therefore sponsors such as Camel and Skoal were allowed. Well, this allowed Carter to reopen his race team, and that is precisely what happened in 1994. With Carter putting Hut Strickland behind the wheel of his now number 23 Camel-sponsored Ford for the entire 1994 NASCAR Cup Series season. They really were not all that fast. Originally, NASCAR came to Junior Johnson in an attempt to get his race team to field an entry sponsored by Camel. Johnson declined, but he hooked the representative up with Carter, allowing Carter to reopen his team and to run the 1994 season. Strickland attempted all 31 races, qualifying for 29 of them. Strickland's best start was second at Richmond in the fall. Best finish was 8th at Michigan in the summer. Overall, in 29 starts, Strickland scored 1 top 10, 5 top 15s, and 12 top 20s, finishing 26th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. At the conclusion of the 94 season, Strickland and Carter split. Beginning in 1995 and continuing through the conclusion of the 2001 season, Jimmy Spencer rejoined Travis Carter Enterprises. This, for sure, was the best, or at least most productive, combination that Travis Carter Enterprises would ever have. Regularly a top 20 contender, Spencer would at least have a couple strong runs each season, spending the vast majority of his time driving for Travis Carter in between 9th and 20th in final point standings. For the 1995 through 1997 time period, Carter's number 23 Ford was sponsored by Camel Cigarettes. Then, following the 97 season, R.J. Reynolds switched the team's sponsorship to Winston, leaving the number 3 team at the end of the 1999 season, making room for Big Kmart to take over the Haas-Carter Motorsports ride. Carl Haas became part owner of the team prior to the 1999 season, giving birth to Haas-Carter Motorsports. They also formed a second entry for the team's Cup Series program, the number 66 Big Kmart Route 66 Ford, for 3-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Darrell Waltrip. He was coming off a real tough 1998 season, though he did show that he could still drive, while he was serving as a fill-in driver for Steve Park, behind the wheel of Dale Earnhardt Incorporated's number 1 Pennzoil Chevrolet. Jimmy Spencer remained with the team from 1995 through 2000. His best start was first twice, in Indianapolis in the summer and Charlotte in the fall of 2001. His best finish was second twice, at Talladega in the spring of 1998 and Bristol in the fall of 1999. Overall, in 227 NASCAR Cup Series starts, Spencer scored 2 poles, 0 wins, 13 top 5s, and 42 top 10s, with the best points finish of 14th in 1998. As far as the team's second entry, the number 66 Big Kmart Route 66 Ford, for Darrell Waltrip for both the 1999 and 2000 seasons, and a combined 56 starts between the two seasons, along with 13 did not qualify in those 2 seasons also. Waltrip's best start was second, and his best finish was 11th, both coming at Indianapolis in the summer of 2000. Overall, in 56 Cup Series starts, Waltrip scored 6 top 15s and 7 top 20s, with the best points finish of 36th in 2000. At the conclusion of the 2000 season, Darrell Waltrip retired from active Cup Series competition and became a commentator for Fox Sports. Todd Bodine took over the number 66 Kmart Blue Light Special Ford full-time, unfortunately missing the Daytona 500, but from there the team had become a much more solid team than the season prior. Way more competitive on a weekly basis, leading 110 laps throughout the season in 11 different events. Bodine's best start was first 3 times, at Chicagoland and Pocono in the summer, and then Martinsville in the fall. His best finish was 5th twice, at Las Vegas in the spring and Watkins Glen in the summer. Overall, in 35 starts, Todd Bodine scored 2 poles, 0 wins, 2 top 5s, and 2 top 10s, 8 top 15s, and 13 top 20s, finishing 29th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Overall, in 35 starts, Todd Bodine scored 2 poles, 0 wins, 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, 8 top 15s, 13 top 20s, finishing 29th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. The following season, in 2002, Carter's team was expected to build on the solid 2001 season, but the financial rug was pulled out from underneath them as Kmart filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy right before the season started. This left the entire team with little, if any, financial backing after the first 2 races. Joe Nemechek joined the team to take over the number 26 Ford after Spencer left the seat open. He would make 7 starts for the number 26 team, driving the first portion of the 2002 season. Nemechek's best start was 13th at California in the spring, and his best finish was 17th at Darlington in the spring. Overall, in 7 starts, he scored 2 top 20s. Following race 3, Haas-Carter Motorsports decided to cut back to only running their flagship number 26 Ford full-time, and their number 66 only running a very partial schedule. Frank Kimmel came up from the ARCA series to drive the number 26 Pork the other white meat Ford. Kimmel made 5 starts in the number 26 Ford in the spring of 2002. His best start was 29th at Talladega in the spring, and his best finish was 26th at Charlotte in the spring. Once Kmart announced their bankruptcy, Carter told Bodine that if he ever figured out some solid sponsorship for his team's number 26 Ford, he would ask Bodine to come back and drive for them in the Cup Series. Starting at race 13 in Dover, that's exactly what Carter did, when Discover Card agreed to sponsor the number 26 Ford full-time for the remainder of the 2002 season. Todd returned and made 21 starts behind the wheel of number 26 Discover Card Ford. His best start was 3rd at Rockingham in the fall, and his best finish was 5th at Richmond in the fall. Overall, in 21 starts, Bodine scored 1 top 5 and 4 top 10s, finishing 38th in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. In a couple of the races that Todd could not run in the number 26 in the Cup Series due to his obligations in the Xfinity Series, older brother Jeff Bodine would fill in. Jeff made 3 starts in that number 26 Discover Card Ford. His best start was 17th, and his best finish was 19th, both coming at Michigan in the summer. As far as the number 66 Ford, this entry only made 6 entries throughout the season. Several different drivers made starts in that number 66 Ford. Todd Bodine made the first 3. Then Hideo Fukuyama made 2 starts behind the wheel of that 66. His best start was 43rd twice, at Dover and Martinsville in the fall. His best finish was 39th at Dover in the fall. Jeff made 1 start in the number 66 Discover Card Ford at Loudon in the summer, starting and parking. Discover Card told Carter that indeed they would be back on the number 26 for the 2003 season, though we all know that is not what ended up happening. The company was going through all kinds of financial changes behind the scenes, and that is really what led them to telling Carter in late November, mind you, that they would not be returning to the team the following season. Travis Carter reshaped his team, bringing Sam Van Levis into the fold as part owner, as well as National Guard and as the team's new primary sponsor, changing the team's number to 54. Todd Bodine was announced as the number 54 Ford team's driver, full-time for the 2003 season in the NASCAR Cup Series. His best start was 6th at Daytona in the spring, and his best finish was 8th at Pocono in the summer. Overall, in 35 starts, Bodine scored 1 top 10, 7 top 15s, and 12 top 20s, finishing 31st in final NASCAR Cup Series point standings. Hideo Fukuyama made another 2 Cup Series starts behind the wheel of the number 66 Kikkoman's Ford. His best start was 41st, and his best finish was 33rd, both coming at Las Vegas in the spring. Unfortunately, at the conclusion of the 2003 NASCAR Cup Series season, Travis Carter's race team ran out of sponsorship and options and shut down permanently. This also gave Carter a chance to focus on his son, Matt Carter's racing career, who was working his way up through the stock car racing ranks during that time. In 2007, Carter announced his return to NASCAR with the Newman Haas Lanigan Racing team in the Xfinity Series, with driver Kyle Krisloff in the number 14 Ford, running the full 35 race schedule. Krisloff's best start was 19th at Daytona in the spring. His best finish was 5th at Talladega in the spring. Overall, in 35 starts, Krisloff scored 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s, finishing 18th in final Xfinity Series point standings. His race team did not last long, however, only running the 2007 Xfinity Series season and the season opener at Daytona in 2008 before disbanding. After NASCAR, Carter went back to living a normal, peaceful life in North Carolina until June 10th, 2025, when he would pass away at the age of 75. So, in 493 NASCAR Cup Series starts, Carter's team scored 6 poles, 0 wins, 17 top 5s, and 58 top 10s, with the best points finish of 14th in 1998. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.